This video is going to be on the chapter Haloalkenes and Haloarenes, class 12. In the previous discussion, we have observed that a SN2 reaction proceeds through the complete inversion of configuration of the alkyl halide, and the SN1 reaction proceeds through racemization, which involves retention and inversion of configuration. So to understand all these concepts related to stereochemistry, let us have some knowledge, basic knowledge on the stereochemistry. So starting from the optical rotation. To understand that, we need to have the idea about plane polarized light. So let us see what is plane polarized light. In ordinary light consists of electromagnetic wave of different wavelength, and we can see that the orientation or the propagation of the electromagnetic waves are in different directions. But when this ordinary light is passed through a nickel prism, which is made up by some crystalline calcium carbonate, then that light becomes plane polarized light, which is a beam of light which has vibration only in one plane. So ordinary light is converted into plane polarized light by passing it through a nickel prism. So after that, what happens? Now we can understand the optical activity. This is the source of ordinary light from where we are getting some unpolarized light or ordinary light. From that ordinary light, if we pass that through a nickel prism, we can have our plane polarized light, which have the vibration in only one plane. So if this plane polarized light is now passing into a polarimeter, which is the instrument which gives us the knowledge or idea about the optical activity of an organic compound, then we can see that due to the absorption of this plane polarized light by the compound which is kept inside this polarimeter instrument, the rotation of the plane polarized light is changing. So if this was the first movement or vibration of the plane polarized light, then after the absorption of the plane polarized light by the different functional group present in this organic compound which is taken in polarimeter, the polarized light will now vibrate in this plane. So the angle, which is denoted by alpha, is the rotation of the plane polarized light. Now if we observe this through an analyzer, then this alpha is the rotation which is called as the optical rotation, and the substances which can rotate this plane polarized light is called optically active substances, and the property of the substance to rotate this plane polarized light is called the optical activity. This is the experimental fact. If we take some organic compound in this polarimeter, inside this polarimeter, then we can have the optical rotation, and if we are having some optical rotation, then we say that the compound which is taken inside this polarimeter is optically active, and the substance which rotates this plane polarized light towards the right hand side, that means clockwise, that compound is called dextrorotatory, and on the other hand, a substance which rotates the plane polarized light towards left hand side, that means anti-clockwise, that will be known as the levorotatory. So now it is the experimental fact, but in practical, how can we understand that the compound which we are talking about is optically active or not? For that we have some theoretical aspect. What are those? For those, we have to find out that the first and foremost criteria for a compound to be chiral or optically active is known as the presence of asymmetric carbon. If in any compound there is asymmetric carbon, then that compound will be known as asymmetric molecule and the compound will be known as chiral molecule. So now what is asymmetric carbon? In general, if a carbon compound or organic compound like C is having 4 different groups like A, B, D and E. So carbon having 4 different groups will be known as the asymmetric carbon or chiral carbon. If we see this example, we can see that this carbon molecule is having 4 different groups. That means one is methyl, another one is hydrogen, chlorine and ethyl group. So this carbon is asymmetric carbon and as a whole the compound will be asymmetric molecule. Now this compound will give us optical activity. But if there are more than one carbon, then what will happen? For that case, we have to go to our another criteria, which is the mirror image relationship or the criteria related to the mirror image. If any object is having a non-superimposable mirror image, then that compound will be also known as chiral and the compound being chiral will show the optical activity. And those molecules which are giving non-superimposable mirror image, they will be achiral and that compound will be optically inactive. So we can say that achiral molecules are optically inactive and the molecules which are chiral, those will be optically active. So the molecule I have taken here is the molecule in which carbon is having 4 different groups. So from that also we can say this molecule is chiral. Also from the mirror image relationship or the mirror image non-superimposability, we can explain the chirality of the molecule. Let us see how. If this is the molecule which I have written here, so the carbon, this is the carbon, this is the methyl group, this side is hydrogen, above side is the ethyl group, this one 2 carbon and this is the chlorine, the yellow ball. So here the structure is written how. Here the methyl, carbon and hydrogen has been taken in one plane. That means the plane is lying like this one, where methyl, carbon and hydrogen are in the plane, and with this plane, this ethyl group is above side and this chlorine is in the below side. So we have written this one in flying wedge configuration. Flying wedge means where we will write the configuration by showing in the plane bond and above the plane bond and the below the plane bond. Now if we want to see the molecule in Fischer projection, what we have to do? We have to see only the molecule like this one. Now methyl, carbon and hydrogen was in a plane, so we are taking this line as the vertical line here. So here methyl, carbon and hydrogen are in the same line. So this is the vertical line, means we have to just rotate this molecule like this one. So now methyl, carbon and hydrogen are in the same plane, same line, and the ethyl group is coming on the left hand side and the chlorine is coming on the right hand side. So I have written like this. So this is the Fischer projection. And now we are taking the mirror image of this molecule. So what will be that mirror image? Mirror image will be like this one, where the methyl will be here. If we are keeping a mirror like this one, obviously we can see this molecule where the methyl will coming on this side, hydrogen on this side, chlorine here and ethyl here. So now let us see this molecule. I have written this molecule like this one, where methyl, this one is methyl, carbon is this one, hydrogen is this one. This is in a plane. So ethyl will be above the plane and chlorine is below the plane. So now if we have to write this flying wedge into Fischer, similarly like the previous one, we have to see the molecule just like this. So now the methyl, carbon and the hydrogen, this one is coming on the vertical line, ethyl is coming on right hand side and the chlorine is coming on left hand side. So only there is difference between the seeing from which side we are observing the molecule between the Fischer and flying wedge. So this compound and this compound are two separate stereoisomers which are related by some mirror image and they are non-superimposable. Why? Because if we take this molecule and we want to match this, like all the molecules are not same, so they are non-superimposable, and non-superimposable mirror image if we are getting from any isomer or any chiral molecule, then obviously that will be optically active. Now if we see this molecule where there is two methyl group and one chlorine and one hydrogen, then by the same process if we write this one in the Fischer projection, we will have this compound and the mirror image of this compound will be like this one, where chlorine will come here, here will be methyl, this methyl will go this side and the hydrogen will come this side. So now if we rotate the three groups, like we want to take chlorine here only, इस कंपाउंड में भी मुझे क्लोरीन को यहाँ लेना है, क्यों? ताकि हम मैच कर सके कि ये दो कंपाउंड सेम है या डिफरेंट है. फॉर दैट व्हाट वी हैव टू डू, क्लोरीन को हमें रोटेट करना है टू स्टेप में. इन फर्स्ट स्टेप वी आर रोटेटिंग थ्री ग्रुप इंटरचेंज, मीन्स chlorine will come here, methyl will come here and this methyl will go this side. So this compound will come, and next what we are doing, methyl will come here, chlorine will come here and this methyl will go this side. So we are having this A molecule. Now we can see the previous one and the mirror image of this molecule A is coming same. So these two are same molecule and these two are also same molecule. So the mirror image of this molecule is superimposable. So it will be optically inactive. So non-superimposability of the mirror images of any compound will be the criteria which can give us the optical activity of that molecule, and if we are getting two non-superimposable mirror image, they are called enantiomer. So for SN2 reaction, we get one molecule with this one, means the reactant will be with this configuration and the product will be with the opposite configuration, means this one. So there will be inversion of configuration, and for SN1 reaction there will be one product with this in configuration inversion and another one will be with retention, where the nucleophile attack from the same side of the leaving group. So the configuration is basically related to the spatial orientation of these groups around a chiral carbon, and for this reason only, if the starting compound is chiral, then only we have to think about the inversion and retention of configuration. Otherwise, if the molecule is achiral, then we are getting the same product. So there will be no question regarding stereochemistry.